How much money should you have saved at each age to be prepared for retirement? It's critical to know where you currently stand so you can make adjustments if necessary. Are you way ahead of the game and on your way to a comfortable early retirement, or do you have some catching up to do? Look at what an individual should have put away based on age to determine where you presently stand. Look at how much you should have set aside by age in order to retire at 65. Welcome to Cash Flow Canvas, where we teach lessons about investment and money-saving techniques. If you want to make your financial future better, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for the latest updates. At the age of 20, don't worry about having much money saved. Instead, do your absolute best to avoid getting into debt if you need to borrow money for college. Attend a school that is within your financial means and work your way through with a job. Don't make the mistake that many young adults do by acting like college is a time to spend carelessly. Resist the temptation to buy a brand new car financed over 60, 72, or 84 months. The excitement will wear off quickly, but the payments will continue to come in for years. Keep your living expenses as low as possible by staying with family or renting a cheap apartment. Finally, consider starting a retirement account such as a Roth IRA. You don't need thousands of dollars to get started. Simply investing $50 or $100 will help you gain expertise as an investor by the age of 25. Ideally, by your mid-20s, you should have saved aside roughly half a year's income for retirement. If your annual income is $50,000, you should aim for $25,000 in retirement. This is certainly an attainable number if you're diligent with your spending, but don't panic if you're not quite there. It takes time to establish yourself financially for a variety of reasons. You're just starting out in your career, and your income probably doesn't leave much room for savings. Student loans must be paid off if you borrowed money to attend college, and rent can easily consume a large portion of your budget, costs comparable to a car replacement. Prioritize keeping your spending as low as possible so you can work on becoming settled and increasing your income by age 30. Aiming for 1 year of income by the age of 30. You should strive to have 1 whole year's income and investments. If your income is $50,000, you should have roughly $50,000 saved away for your future. Most people at this age are probably more concerned with paying loan payments, buying a house, or starting a family. Purchasing a home can also be an excellent investment for your future, but you should not dismiss the idea of investing entirely. So to put it another way, when looking at your earnings, be sure to leave room for at least 10% of your wages for investments. If you're behind, you still have plenty of time to catch up, and this may be done within reason with some smart financial choices by age 35. By age 35, you should aim to have 2 times your income invested. With a $50,000 income, this means you should have about $100,000 saved, which is reasonable if you're careful with your spending. When you're in your 30s, you might be tempted to keep up with the Joneses. Keeping housing costs in check and avoiding big amounts of debt make this savings amount fairly feasible. When you reach your 40s, you should have roughly 5 times your salary in retirement. With a $50,000 income, this should be $250,000. If you started investing a decade or two ago, this should be rather straightforward. However, those who started later will find it difficult. Don't worry if you're behind because you still have plenty of time to catch up if you start saving seriously throughout this phase of your life. It is critical in life to fight the temptation to keep up with the Joneses by updating your home and purchasing brand new cars in order to appear wealthy. By age 50, aim to have 10 times your income in retirement. With a salary of $50,000, this would equate to $500,000, which can be intimidating. But by this time, compound interest has far surpassed any amount you'd be contributing to your portfolio. For example, if you had $500,000 invested in the S&P 500, it would grow an average of $50,000 each year, resulting in large amounts of compound interest. In addition, the fact that your income is probably at career highs makes it easy to make large amounts of progress as you get very close to the typical retirement age of 60 years old. Someone who's almost ready to retire should have about 20 times their income and investments with a 50% return. With compound interest on your side, $1 million should be achievable once you have this much saved. Once you have this much saved, you can begin to make adjustments and even stop investing entirely if you're on track to surpass the amount needed by age 65 or the typical retirement age. Having 25 times your required retirement income is recommended. If you plan to live on $50,000 per year, you should have about $1,250,000 invested. Having 25 times your income invested means you can now withdraw 4% of your portfolio every year without running out of money or relying on other sources of income. It is recommended that you invest 15% of your income for retirement, and chances are that if you do this, you will be very wealthy. Starting this early in your career is one of the best moves you can make. Setting aside that large a percentage of your income can be intimidating at first, but you can start with 5% or less if you're just getting started. Don't worry about how much you're setting aside. You can always work your way up as you earn more money and get better at finding ways to cut out wasteful spending when you make wise financial decisions. Keeping your spending in check and looking for ways to boost your income, you'll be astonished at how simple it may be. These figures should only be used as a guideline, especially for younger people who want to make sure they're on track when it comes to retirement savings. In reality, most people don't have anywhere near these sums saved when they retire. When you're young, your priority should be to make small steps that will compound over time, such as investing just 5% or 10% of your income. Of course, there are other variables to consider depending on your situation. These figures are based on withdrawing 4% of your portfolio each year during retirement. Years 4% has been considered a safe withdrawal rate, which means you can spend that much of your portfolio each year. Others will choose to withdraw more, and others will choose to withdraw less. But this is something you should research and decide for yourself when you want to retire if you plan on retiring before the age of 65. These figures will need to be adjusted. You can become financially independent and reach 25 times your annual expenditure at a much younger age. This may appear to be an impossible feat, but by restricting your spending, it becomes much easier to accumulate a large enough nest egg to support your expenses as you intend. For retirement, it's also important to consider tax obligations. If all of your savings are locked inside a 401k or traditional IRA, you should be aware of how that will impact your retirement income. You could end up paying 30% or more of your income to tax, whereas a Roth IRA will not. As to any additional income tax when you retire, as you can see, these are two quite different scenarios. All account types have advantages and disadvantages, but planning for taxes to the best of your ability will help you to be more precise. You should also consider Social Security income when calculating your projected Social Security payout. It is substantial. You may not need anywhere near 25 times your income to retire. Some people live on Social Security income alone and don't even touch their retirement savings. However, you can even begin to collect it until a certain age. Just something else to think about. Numbers shown in the video are ideal scenarios for someone who wants to retire at a typical retirement age. If you're behind, don't be intimidated by the amounts you should have set aside. By implementing this habit from the beginning, you'll be surprised at how much progress you make. As we conclude, I'd like to thank you for watching. I hope you found value in this video and learned something new, and I look forward to seeing you in our future videos. I would deeply value it if you could like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support will help us to create more valuable content, and we can work together to secure your financial future. What are the key takeaways from this video that you can share in the comment section?